How is it going? So, it's Carl Treslove here. Tarot reader, psychic, medium, 14, 15 years. It is my Therapy Thursday day today. So I had, I'm just about to do another session very soon. So I'm on a time limit with somebody in the States, and I was doing a session for somebody else who, she's traveling at the moment. I believe she's in either El Salvador or Mexico, but she's from the UK. And then I did some recorded Vedic astrology readings. However, anyway, the thing that I am going to look at and talk about, being as it's a Therapy Thursday day, is about emotions and feelings. I was saying to somebody recently that, what happens if we have feelings inside of us that we don't get up and get out, right? Is that it builds and 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 builds. So what happens is we become very up here in the higher energetic centers. So we're thinking, we're trying to work things out, we're trying to make ourselves feel better. The mind is trying to feel security, it's trying to find a way to wire itself in order to feel good. That can then also, we bypass, we distract, we turn to things that are going to make us feel things that we don't feel, and then addictions happen and all of those things. Now, I also believe this, that everything is part of God. The good, the bad, the ugly, even when we're suppressing and we're repressing our emotions. Or even if the emotions, move freely or they're stuck or whatever, they're doing it in the way that they need to do it, right? But, so that's the mechanics, the metaphysics of it, truth, right? But if you are in a process, how do you navigate that? If you're feeling shit, how do you sit with it? I think it's important to make sure that we have a healthy network, a healthy support network, a support system, people around that can help who know us, can bring us back to our roots. If we want to look at the chakra systems, energy centers, if there are things in the way of the system, operating in its full functionality, we are not going to feel rooted and grounded. We are going to be our pin, once again, the higher energetic centers. Therefore, people who know us, who can bring us back to ourselves, who can root us, who can ground us, who can talk to us in a way that is real and raw and doesn't facilitate and enable you to be lost in those spaces. That's my problem, right, with people who do spiritual work and spiritual facilitation that enable those spaces. They're not helping people to be in the here, now, present, and deal with their shit. Because wonderfully, I will say this, the foundation that I had in spiritualist churches within the UK was I was working with, women in their 50s and 60s who they had their own shit in their life, but actually what they saw spiritual work as was, listen, come sit at the table, let me help you with your life. I also have to be wary of what I say, because I don't like the space of when people do good deeds and then tell everybody about it to blow smoke up their own fucking backside. So when people video shit, I'm not interested. But what I will say is this. I was going to give you an example. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. So I don't understand when spiritual people are talking about their processes, very inshallah, very me, very, very I. When spirituality is about how you can be a good person, how you can be kind. Who cares if you talk about chakras for 4 hours, if you can't help somebody who is in need? The drunk person, the homeless person, the whatever, and then not have to make a big song and dance about it. Kindness, simple human kindness. That's what spirituality should be about. And it should also help you to find stillness in yourself. There's balance. Yes, I think that it can help you to find God, trust, faith, all of those things. But it should also help you to be a decent fucking human being and give to your fellow man. That's it. So, on that wonderful note, if you want to give for these videos, you can. It's PayPal at Kyle Treslove. If you want me, you can get me. It's kyletreslove.com. I have different things, different days, depending on what it is you need. You can find me on all of my social medias as well, and that will let you know what I'm doing. If at any point you need to reach out and you are not in a space where you can access me, I try to make myself accessible on lots of different levels so that people can, regardless of what resources they have. But if you really need to reach out and you need some help, please do, because that is what it is for. I set up the rest of, my work so that it affords me the luxury of being able to do that as and when I can. So that's it. Podcast is also something that is freely accessible, talking about some of these things that can actually really help, So that is Tower Talks. I just did episode number 7. It was on time. There's just me on that episode. Normally I'm interviewing people, but somebody has been playing me around with coming on. So I thought I'm going to do it myself. So I did. Next episode will be up soon. Tower Talks. Okay, right. I just got a message from my next session. I'm about to go and do that. Remember, like I will always say, all is good, all is God, all is love. Until we connect again soon, in a bit.